this is one of those days where I don't have to be anywhere, but I kind of just want to get ready and feel a little bit put together. I'm feeling so much mum guilt at the moment because Liliana's starting to be so much more alert and it feels like it's happened overnight. And I will be feeding her and I'll be on my phone, and now that she's so alert, she's like looking up at my phone and she's looking up at me, and I hate the idea of her seeing me on my phone. But there's moments where even when she's playing and she's having a bit of independent time and she's literally fine, but I'm doing the grocery online order or something like that, and I see her looking at me on my phone, and it just makes me feel so bad, even though I know that that's something that I need to do. I feel like it's just the mum guilt starting, even though like logically, yes, I need to be on my phone at times, but it's really, really tough because I don't want her to feel like I'm giving something else attention, but obviously I need to sometimes, and she doesn't even know what a phone is, but I know that she knows that my attention's somewhere else, but sometimes it has to be, and I have to be okay with that. I think it's just adjusting to all the new things. She's 11 weeks today, which is crazy. Like, I can't believe she's nearly 3 months old. It just feels like it's gone so quick, but at the same time, it's like I can't picture my life without her. It's absolutely crazy. She's starting to roll over and she's about to outgrow the bassinet as well, which is just not something that I thought would happen for many months. But I also haven't been around a lot of young kids, so sometimes there's milestones that I think aren't until a lot later or earlier, and I'm constantly surprised every day about all the things that are happening developmentally, because it felt like overnight that suddenly she was more alert and awake more through the day. Whereas the first few weeks she was asleep all the time, like for so many hours of the day. Even the shift of like her falling asleep easily on me at the end of a feed versus now having to put her down through the day. So I'm going to start trying letting her put herself to sleep, just to kind of see what she does, give her some practice, and if she doesn't, it's fine, but kind of just giving her that opportunity to fall asleep in a dark room, me just like patting her, and just seeing if she will go to sleep on her own without me having to walk her around constantly, which is also really hard on a rainy day when I live in a little apartment and I'm kind of just doing laps. And I also don't want to feed her to sleep every single time, so it's, I think, a good balance to let her fall asleep in different ways. But I actually have no idea what I'm doing. I feel like sleep is something that is just, there's endless information about it online, and I think so much of it's conflicting, and I just have no sense of like what is good and what's bad, because it's different depending on who you speak to. I just think that's really difficult because I find for new mums, like there's just so much information and you just don't know if you're doing the right thing and if you're not. And I feel like sometimes that can lead us further away from trusting our own gut. It's hard too because I had so many different opinions through like different midwives that we interacted with. I was really lucky to have one consistent midwife the whole way through MGP, but I would get so many different conflicting pieces of information from different people, and it made it really difficult to make your own decision when you just genuinely had no idea what to do. Even when we stayed in the hospital overnight, like we had all these different midwives come for their shifts, and every single time it got to the point where it was really helpful, and then it was so confusing because every single shift change we were getting told different things. So I think that was a really good lesson in try different things and just see what works for you, because every baby's different, so you just have to do what feels right for you, what works for your baby. And if you're someone like me who just has never really been around babies much, it was even harder because it was like I hadn't even heard of that. I didn't even know. So yeah, it's interesting looking back 11 weeks postpartum to the start versus what we thought it would be, because genuinely I couldn't even picture life with a newborn. And I know so many people just say, oh, like, you know, you'll work it out as you go. But when you hear that and you're about to enter a chapter of your life where you have no idea what you're about to walk into, you've never really been around babies much, like, it was like the most insane experience. So many people were just like random people were giving me advice because I was pregnant, which is just the fun parts of pregnancy and unsolicited advice and people commenting on your body all the time. My fiance and I were on a beach and we were laying down and I was like at least halfway. And this German couple came and like ran to us and loomed over us and was like, oh my gosh, having a baby will be the best experience of your life. Like, oh my gosh. And I'm like sitting there and I had gotten shat on by a seagull like 10 minutes before that. And I was so uncomfortable being on the beach and my hips were aching and I was not in the mood for people. And obviously they meant well, but it's just so funny when you're pregnant what people will just come up to you and tell you. So yeah, I don't know, I think like just getting all the advice around like, you know, make sure you have this for a colic baby, make sure you do that, like a lot of it wasn't even relevant. And I think like, you know, people mean well because they went through a period of time where they wish that they had that at the time and that really saved them. And obviously it comes from a great place. But when you're pregnant, it is beyond overwhelming. And your brain also feels like really low capacity anyway. So I think just like trying to absorb all the information and like a lot of it's good luck with that. Like you'll never do this again. And that I found really hard. Like I just had a lot of fears going into being a mum about never feeling myself again and never being able to do my hobbies again and being broke forever. Like there's just so many different fears that I brought into it that when other people were projecting their own fears onto me, I think I just had to put my little bubble up and not take it all on because it was just so overwhelming to have my own fears, be entering this new chapter of my life, and then I guess be hearing other people's horror stories or people saying, oh, my aunt had the most traumatic birth and give you the details. Like, excuse me? Everyone's so different, but I think just going into it with like having your bubble up and yeah, just protecting your own energy because for me, I was already so emotionally vulnerable that I just couldn't take on too much negativity and horror stories and things that went wrong. And like everyone's experience is so different that I just had to kind of, you know, take what I wanted to and leave the rest because you just can't carry it all. But yeah, it was also really weird being on maternity leave and waiting for the biggest life change ever to happen while everyone was just going about their day, going to work, doing their thing. And it just felt so strange because it felt like I was in limbo and I was just stuck in time waiting for the biggest change of my life. Like, what do you even do to prepare for birth? Like, you're sitting there drinking tea, eating dates, waiting just for labor to happen. Yeah, like it's just the craziest experience just being in that limbo. And I think people don't get it unless they've been there. And I know a lot of women speak about almost that guilt or that new understanding that makes them realize that they weren't fully there for other people in their life. And not from a place of not caring, but just fully from not getting it, because your brain changes the second you find out you're pregnant, for me at least. And then the second you give birth and you're holding your baby that you're now responsible for and that you grew, it was just, I can't even explain how insane that feeling was. And yeah, it was just like the best moment of my life when she was put on my chest, and I replay it in my head all the time because it's like, that was the moment that everything changed. But yeah, it's just so weird being on the other side of all those moments where you just are waiting for everything to change. You had no idea what you were about to walk into and how prepared you were. And it's so hard to even comprehend, honestly. But yeah, it's just, I know everyone says time goes so quick, but it's just crazy that 3 months has passed. And it's like, I can't even imagine my life before her, even though that was 3 months ago. Like, it's just a lot to process. But yeah, I just feel really grateful every single day. And I think even when we have the stress that continues, even when you have a baby, it's looking at those things that are keeping me going and are keeping me grounded and being really present and excited to be where I am right now.
Tiger girl.